everyone, Achikah here, and it's time to announce the winners of Base Off Danny the Bass. So we had 5 contestants, which we will get into here momentarily, but before we do, I just wanted to really extend, like, a huge thank you to everybody who participated and supported this Base Off and made it what it is. This Base Off was probably one of my favorite Base Offs, both in just the theming and also how everything fell together. I try to say this in almost every Base Off video, but I don't really treat Base Off as a competition anymore. It's kind of more of just a celebration of base building in a way. It's everybody kind of coming together and working on these projects and just, you know, having fun together as a community. And so, with the idea of Danny in mind, who is definitely a community builder in their own right, to just see how much enthusiasm, in spite of not knowing who Danny is or what they like represent, or like Danny is, like, to an extent, Danny is one of my favorite characters, but I also understand that a lot of people don't know who Danny is or what, you know, they represent, or the basic ideas of Danny either, like as a character or as like an allegorical context. And to see how many people like embraced the challenge, which was the challenge. It was a speed build along with a theming. So like to see like how many people embraced that, but also did so by asking questions and being open-minded and being like interested and enthusiastic and understanding and accepting, and just it really was, I feel like, everybody came together in the spirit of what Danny represented. The live stream was absolutely great. The entries we got were fantastic, and the stories you guys put to them were so very fun. And yeah, like I said, this is probably one of my favorite base offs. It's one that's like near and dear to my heart. So just to see everybody come together and do so with Danny in mind and creating these amazing bases was just absolutely spectacular. So I just wanted to say thank you again to everybody who participated, who supported, who came out for the live stream, who, I don't know, who donated to also to make the prize pools possible. Just thank you so much. And yeah, it was a really fun time, and I'm really glad. I think a lot of you too, like, also really enjoyed it too. At least the decorators that I've spoken to outside of it did too. So I'm really glad, and yeah, I just want to say thanks. So why don't I get to the part of why you're here? So before we get into the judging, I'm going to give a brief overview of the criteria, just so people know, just for a bit of understanding. So the way I personally judge base off is I have 5 pillars of base off that I weigh equally across the board, to an extent. So I have creativity, I have craftsmanship, I have logic, storytelling, and aesthetics. You guys, there's like a whole roster of this, like, on the forum post, but just as a brief overview, creativity is exactly how it sounds, like the use of creativity, or how creative you got with your item usage, your story, everything as a whole, just creativity. Craftsmanship is how the base is put together, so like straight angles, kind of, you know what I mean? Like how aligned everything is, the floor planning, like the structural integrity of the base, kind of, you know, like making sure, like, you know, like just one of my I always put this example in there, but one of my professors told me one time, like, good craftsmanship is where you don't notice craftsmanship at all, technically. Which, you know, is like a thing. So that's craftsmanship. Logic is how logical the progression or use of items is in a base. And given that this is Danny, the whimsy factor, you know what I mean? Like, it's you have to kind of suspend your disbelief for Danny, right? So, logic was a little hard to kind of portray, but it's basically the same thing, right? Like, you know, you don't want a toilet next to a bed unless there's a very specific reason for it being there, you know, like that kind of idea. So that's what logic is. Storytelling is, of course, the story that you tell, be it visually, through like just the way the base is set up, or like the visual progression of the base, and it could be like through vignettes or scenes, or just like an overall feel of how the base feel, you know, goes. So it's like the story that the base tells, visually. And then aesthetic, which is just the design aspect. So it's like how you artistically, I guess, like, composition would be a good word. Just the design aspect of the base. And given that Danny is an architectural individual, and is full of whimsy and fun. Creativity as well as aesthetics were heavily weighted for the judging process this time around. So those are my criterias for Base Off and judging. So again, we had 5 entries, and all of them were amazing. I love the stories that you guys told. It was really, really fun to see what you came up with for Danny, and yeah, it was a very close race too, actually. Which I think like with so few entries, I was worried that like how judging and everything would come into play, but everybody was very, very close. The first and second place winners were like 1 point away from one another, and it came down to the weighted aspect of it too, like the weight of that is what separated them. So again, it was a close competition. So thank you again for your absolutely wonderful entries, and like I said, the spirit of what you guys put into them too was really wonderful. So thank you again. But for third place, let's get into our placing here. Oh, we also have a wild card judge too that we get into, so I have that whole statement too. So you guys have that to look forward to. But yeah, so let's get into third place here. So in third place we have I Onslaught with their base called Danny the Island. Oh my gosh, this base was so much fun. It was a 1 room manor. Well, I guess 1 room plus a wing is what I'd say. A hallway, a half a hallway. So I Onslaught created this beautiful island paradise that Danny inhabited, and was offering up to the to us, to the denizens of DCUO. It was really cool because you entered and it had the welcome. It was very welcoming and warm. The color usage is beautiful. There was an amazing mosaic of pride flags and vernal things up the staircases that were just absolutely gorgeous. It was like its own like living art piece, which was so, so cool to see. There were very cool like forced perspective things. So there were some houses that were up atop of some of the Themysciran planners from Metal Part 1 to give it like this high up in the hills kind of like feel for like these large like wooden like um uh manors almost in its own right, you know what I mean, like housing, like there's these, it was just really, really cool. The ceiling was also beautifully done, like the aesthetics of that was incredible. It was like sectioned off with the sunshades and the snow clouds, as well as the galaxies and the stars showing through, and the lighting aspects, and it was just the use of color too. So I also used some of the decorative tapestries that kind of have that shimmering gold, and because they were up against the wall and pushed with those vista hilly like houses that were up there with the forced perspective, it made it feel like a sunset was in the background. It was a really, really cool base, and just really warm and welcoming, and yeah, just a really nice, wonderful use of items, and a very awesome way to embrace Danny. So that was our third place winner. So congratulations, I Onslaught, for your third winning base. So next, we have second and first place, which, as I said before, this one was really hard to judge. I went through both quite a few times over the course of the week, and it took um like it took the weight of one of the categories in order to push one ahead of the other. So battling it out for first and second place, we had Frostwing with their base called Vida Bohem, and we had a collaborative effort from both Achikah the Muse and Smooth with their aptly titled base called Smoothicus the Base. um, and both of the bases were just absolutely incredible. So Frostwing did this very realistic, grounded approach to Danny, where you enter Gotham, of course, and it is, it's rainy, it's dreary, it's full of grays, it's run down, and it's just, it's just not, it's like a very like not happy cityscape kind of place to be. And then you break down this magical door, and inside is filled with some bright, lively, beautiful, just like whimsy. It's so full of color and life and brightness and fun. And it has a welcome banner right away when you enter. There's the cabaret, of course, which is, like I said, the heart of Danny, um, in all their forms. Like, it's just, and you progress through this city street, which is just littered with so many beautiful shops, and the way like the items are set up is just great. And it also like references Frostwing's character too. Like I put out a video of Arcane Animesis, I think is what it's called. Me and Frostwing worked together on a base for an extra life project. I'll link it up above if you guys want to check it out. But it tells the story of their character, and those Themysciran elements were put into this Danny base, which I thought was a really cool touch. Danny was smiling. There was a happy face there for Danny, which was just so cool to see. And then there was like other just like I said, just really fun like storefronts and things like that. So Frostwing did an absolutely incredible job. So yeah, that was Frostwing's a base. So then we had Ash and Smooth's collaborative project, which was such a fun idea. It was uh so they took the outcasts of the DCUO deco community kind of in a way. Like the creepy cat dolls and the Staros kind of get bullied a lot in a lot of our bases. They're either like creepy aspects that don't belong that we kind of like use as like a, almost like our own little Annabelles in our bases. And then we also like Staros are always used as like food sources or found in pots and or they're being like a villainous like invading force and all this stuff in our bases. So what Smooth and Ash decided to do was to create a paradise for those creatures who were the strange and outcast, which again is what like those are the kind of people that Danny gives a home. So it was like a story about that, and it was wonderful. The use of items was great. I was greeted personally when I entered, which was absolutely fantastic. I really love the story that was told throughout. So the Staros that gained sentience and broke away from Staros are the ones that have the little mannequin figures that gives them a sense of self within Danny, and Danny nurtures that, of course, as well. And then there were the cat dolls who they are consuming. So like there's a part within the base where the cat dolls are consuming Staros, but it's not the sentient Staros. It's the Staros that are still a part of like the hive mind. So they're kind of like population controlling the hive mind Staros, which is just very very cool. And yeah, it's just a really fun base, and I could see the collaborative efforts of both Smooth and Ash. I don't know if I said this already while like talking about their base. Throughout it, just like I could see Frostwings um, imprinting their character within Danny, which was really cool to tell the story. Like Smooth and Ash also personalized it by using specific items that both of them like to use in a lot of their bases and their crafting techniques. So it was just a really great base. Both bases were just absolutely incredible, and it was so hard to choose one or the other. But in the end, one just slightly inched out the other one. So in second place we have Frostwing with Vita Bohem, and in first place we have Smooth and Ash with their collaborative effort of Smoothicus the base. It was just one slight like I said, both of them were very fantastic, but man, that greeting at the door that Ash and Smooth did was one of the most Danny forward things that like I could think of, and it was really really great. And overall the whole base like was fantastic. Both of them were absolutely fantastic, but those are your base off Danny the base winners for my end of things now. So I have a statement here from Mabase. Mabase was our wild card judge winner, or not winner, I guess, wild card judge to choose a winner. That's what I meant to say. But I asked Mama Say if they'd like to be here or if they'd like to be on mic, and they said no. They just wanted to do a statement. They're a little shy. If you guys didn't see on the VOD, Mama Say did their first base ever, which was a Danny, and it was really really cool. And they were really worried about how the community would react to their base and everything, and you guys were great, and they were so stoked that everybody enjoyed their and how everybody enjoyed the base overall, and they were really happy with how it came out. So it's just a really fun time. As you can see, I also built a Danny. That's where we're at right now. Me and Mabas, they kind of got in on the fun to embrace the Danny aspect that was going on. So yeah, so I have this statement prepared from Mabase, so I will read it verbatim right now. And I will. Here we go. As always, I was amazed with everyone's creativity, and it was a genuine delight to see how everyone brought Danny to life. It's so hard to only be able to choose one base as my wildcard pick. For my choice, I had to find that certain something that I believe makes Danny the Street such a special character, and decided who best deciphered this special quality. And to my mind, that one quality is the personal, friendly relationship Danny has with not just the Danisons, but with all the people who approach them with open minds and open hearts. This quality not only embodies how I see Danny, but how I think of Pride Month and how I try to approach life in general. With that in mind, my wildcard pick is Smoothicus the Base. Congratulations to Ash and Smooth, and thank you to everyone who entered and everyone who keeps their minds and hearts open. So that is your wild card winner. Smoothicus the Base takes both the wild card spot as well as the first place winner of Base Off. So I will be contacting everybody. So congratulations so much to our winners. I will be contacting everybody for your prizes because I think there are a few choices that were set up. Yeah, I think that's it. But I just want to say again, like, thank you to all the contestants. Like, absolutely every base was fantastic. Like, you guys absolutely crushed it again, as I always say. And this one, like I said again, like at the beginning, this one was like really special to my heart, and just to see how open and wonderful everybody was, and like the collaborative efforts that took place, and just how you guys like helped each other. And also shout out to the base community because they helped me with my base too, the base crafters, so thank you so much. um yeah, it was just a really really fun experience, and it's one of my favorite base offs, and I'll hold this near and dear to my heart for quite a while. So again, thank you so much to everyone who makes base off possible, and be it the contestants, the supporters, the donors, just anybody in general who is supportive. Thank you so much for doing this, and for the community as a whole. You guys are just absolutely stellar, and to know that you guys are, as said, kept your minds and your hearts open. It's really awesome. So thank you again for everything. Okay, so that's me getting probably a bit too emotional. So again, thank you so much for everybody who made Space Off possible. Congratulations to all of our winners. I'll be contacting you about your prizes over the next month. And yeah, if you need a bit of Base Off, fret not, that appetite will be quenched here with the next one that'll be coming up here shortly on next Friday. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, again, thank you so much to everybody who makes Space Off possible. I adore each and every one of you. Thank you to all our wonderful contestants. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.